thank Mandy. She did an outstanding job of presenting all the point terminals and the different other terminals, Deja Vu and the Verifone, and you did wonderful. So on behalf of Retriever and our super group, everybody that's here today, thank you for all your information, and we appreciate all that you do. So let's
Here in Munster, Indiana, this is Dan. He's our driver. Say hey, Dan.
Morning, y'all.
Morning, all right. We're here at Retriever Merchant Solutions headquarters here in Munster, Indiana. Dan's been a great guy, shuttling us all around. There's Jim Wilson.
Get my bags.
Hey, Jim.
Hey, brother.
All right. Coming on inside here. It's a beautiful office.
Yeah, just so I know.
Yeah, not a problem. Thank you for calling the shore.
Hey, honey.
Okay, 1 second while you're going to over to customer service.
There we go. There's the conference room where we've got the green screen all set up. Getting ready for our second day out here. This is the office, all the cubicles, all the wonderful people.
I know. Do you need them? They're just in here. No, I think I have some right out of it. No problem.
Morning, Mandy.
Good morning. Oh gosh.
Wonderful people here.
No,
Good morning.
This busy lady. Hi, how are you?
Beautiful ladies working here at Retriever. Morning. This way. Hey, Pete.
Hey, how you doing, Mike?
All right.
How are you? Hey, here. Mike. Oh, hi, how are you?
How about Jen?
There's Rich Norton and Danny.
Yes.
Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, sir. It's been a fantastic day.
It has been an awesome
It was a
day.
nice welcome up there for American Hearts Radio and Retriever Merchant Solutions. So yesterday was fantastic. Today's going to be a great day, and we're just training people to be superstars. And here's one of them right here.
I
The
am.
blessing of meeting him. And
Great guy.
He's from Florida, so we're looking for big things from Danny. But ready for a great day. Thanks to Mike and Pete and everybody at American Hearts Radio. Fantastic. Love you.
Thank you, Rich. We love you too, man. I love this wall right here. Wooden brick wall.
Nice.
Really cool. Hey, Jim. Scooby. Good to see you, buddy.
Awesome 2 days. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Jim. I love you, man. Yeah, all the offices. Hey, honey. Hey, we got the mascot there. What's up, girl? Hey, Peaches. Morning, girl. She's cool.
Here's what I will tell you.
Beautiful.
In today's time, 100 years ago, when movies were being made, the only way you got on the big screen or got famous is when somebody else had a phone to push. Right. Because that's what it took.
All right, I want to talk about confidence. Okay, it's important that we all have confidence in what we're doing, and how do we gain that confidence? Well, the confidence comes from learning. You know, that's why we're all here today. That's why you're all watching out there. Knowledge breeds confidence, and confidence breeds knowledge. So I'm going to read something to you real quick. Who knows which comes first? It takes confidence in making a buying decision, but how can the prospect have confidence in you, your product, and your company unless you have confidence in yourself first? Confidence is hard to fake. It's written in a representative's face. It shows in his or her speech, gestures, and exaggerated claims. Where does confidence come from? How can a representative get some if they don't have enough? First of all, confidence comes from knowledge. Okay, and that's why we're here. We're learning our material. We're learning our program. We're learning about the equipment. I told all of you yesterday that I feel like I'm the new guy in training also, because I'm learning more about these new products, the new technology. And I'll be honest with you, I've been fighting it. You know, I'm still old school, but I'm getting into it with you. So, and up to this point, not had a lot of confidence in some of this new product. So in order for me to get to that level, I'm admitting, I'm being transparent, I've not arrived. I'm always growing, I always want to keep improving. So that's why I'm here sitting in on all the classes, because I'm a new trainee myself, so it's fantastic. So confidence comes from knowledge. When you know your product from A to Z, when you know exactly how it stacks up against the competition, when you know so much about prospects' problems that you are sure you can render him or her a real service, how can you help from being confident? And then confidence comes from preparation. And when we talk about that, you want to be prepared each and every day. We talk about having your opener. When you walk into a business, you should be prepared, knowing exactly what you're going to say. Get that opener down. As I'm driving through the area and I'm getting ready to go out and contact merchants, I'm practicing that. I'm preparing myself. Am I smiling? Do I have good eye contact? Am I going to have a firm handshake? Am I talking loud? Am I excited? Am I enthusiastic? Don't just drive and go to the area and go, hey, how you doing? You know, I gotta get my coffee. You know, get yourself mentally prepared, and get yourself prepared knowing exactly what you're going to be saying. The representative who is prepared to take advantage of every opportunity and to meet every objection can't help facing each sales interview with greater confidence than the person who lacks this preparation. And then finally, write this down, confidence comes from practice. We talked about this in our previous classes. What do professional athletes do before they play? They practice. All throughout the week, especially football players. They don't just say, Sunday, we played the game on Sunday, all right, we get the rest of the week off, see you next Sunday. That's not going to work. They practice all week long, and it's the same thing for all of us as representatives. Practice your presentation. Record yourself. Look in the mirror. Go over it and over and over, and that's the only way you're going to keep on improving. So if you have confidence in yourself, guess what ends up happening? The merchants will have confidence in you. So the word of the day for each and every one of you is confidence. Okay? So let's work on getting our confidence through these three things that we just talked about. Thanks.
Okay, good morning everybody. Today we are going to dive into the sales portal and more specifically the boarding tool. So we went over yesterday a lot of paper applications. Going through that, you see that the WorldPay application is 5 pages, the DTI application is 7 pages, plus lease documentation. There's a lot going on there. We did probably in January this year, so earlier this year, we released a digital application. So this isn't an online application. It's not something that your merchant can just go willy-nilly fill out from a website. It is something that you do need to log into. Right here is a demo account, but this is the back office. This should look familiar. This is where you view your merchants, your residuals, but we also have right here a boarding portal. So this is where you can actually get rid of that paper and board a merchant digitally. So once you log in, now there's 2 different ways to board a merchant. Let me kind of get in here for a sec. There we go. Okay, so merchant applications. This is just clicking on that boarding tool over on your menu. You've got 2 different ways to create a new application. This is pretty cool. One is simply create a new application. This might be good for face-to-face. So you're bringing your laptop, you're bringing a tablet. Technically, you can do this on your phone, but there's a lot of typing because anything that you would have put on the application, you're typing into this. So you can create a new deal, and what that does, it means you're asking all those questions. You're with the merchant, you're saying what's your address, what's your date of birth, all of that, so it's face-to-face. The second option over here is create a merchant complete. So this might be cool if you're working from home, or if you're got a referral and you're at a hotel for the night or anything like that, and you want to email a merchant over an application. You might start it, business name, put your pricing in it, put the lease agreement in it, but then when they receive the email and log into DocuSign, they're going to then have to fill in the missing blanks. So instead of sitting on the phone with them asking them 50 different questions, the merchant will complete all of the stuff that you don't know, which is really nice. So they'll be required to do that before they can submit it. I'm just going to walk through a create new application and just kind of show you what that looks like. So right here, this is the first step of this. The processor right now, the only one that we have available is WorldPay to date. We are working and we are in a small beta for DTI right now, which is really hot, and we should have that available soon. So right now it'll be the processor's Vantive, nice and easy, but this is where you would select it. You're going to select your book of business, and this isn't letting me select the book. Let's just kind of go, what it's going to be, it's just going to be your name. So nice and easy. Some people might have more than one book of business. You guys don't, so don't worry about that until that comes up. The merchant DBA, we're just going to put in Danny's. Oops.
Oh, I get to be.
Yeah, you get to be the flower shop owner.
Oh, great.
Yep.
But perfect.
And then the MCC code, that's the merchant category code. So a lot of people that have been doing apps for a long time, they really don't know what this is because your relationship manager does this on the back end. But you are literally boarding a merchant from start to finish. When your relationship manager gets that deal, they don't do anything to it. It's completed from everything. So your MCC code is a category code for business type, nice and easy. It sets interchange and it sets underwriting guidelines. Every business out there, close to every business out there, has a category code that Visa and MasterCard make. It's 3 to 4 digits long. You guys don't need to know that. What we have set up in here, it's nice and easy. You start typing flower, and then you're gonna get some different kinds of options here. So the flower shop is what I was going for. So this 5992 is a category code. You just have to select that. You also have the ability to select an Advantage versus standard program. We're just gonna do standard today.
All right, my name's Dave Figley. I've been with Retriever since 2006, early in 2006. I actually just want to give you a little background since we've been working together to understand where I'm coming from, what I've done, and where I'm going with everything we're talking about. I met Rich on a rewards trip. My wife had been working for Retriever as a receptionist and then a relationship manager, and I went as a guest in 2005 on Retriever's very first, I think, rewards trip. And I met Rich and some other people in the business, and they started talking to me, telling me a little bit about it, and at the time I was selling insurance, and basically came back, put some thought into it, talked to Brian Camster a little bit, and decided to give it a shot. So I flew down to Florida and rode with Rich for a day and a half. I think he did like 6 deals in like a day and a half. And I asked him, I said, how much money did you make? And he said, between $3,000 and $5,000, I think. I said, oh man, I gotta do this. So I came back, I talked to my wife, and got into business. So I sold out on the road, door to door, for I think about 7 years, and was pretty successful. I didn't do 400 or 500 deals a year like Rich, but I did anywhere between 150 and 200 deals for about 6.5, 7 years. The last few years, I've gotten more into, I guess you call it a little bit of the corporate side of the business. So what I've done is I guess you call me a consultant. I've worked as a consultant for Retriever to find new products and services. I also run a fairly large sales group. So I have, just like Rich does, Rich's is probably triple the size of mine, but I run a pretty good size group of reps and have trained a number of them. And then Rich and I have been doing these training classes for probably 6 or 7 years now together. So that's what I do for the company. I want you guys to know that you can contact me anytime via email. I'm going to give you my cell phone number. Cell phone, I prefer text before you call, but you can text me, email me. Anything we talk about today, you're going to have a lot of questions. I'm going to dive into kind of the X's, I guess called the X's and O's of Bankcard. You're probably going to get a little confused at times. Write down your questions and come to me later. I'll answer them for you. Now, if I'm going through something and you're totally lost, go ahead and raise your hand. I'll take a few questions, but let's try to keep, when you're doing the sales side of things like personal stories, stuff like that, let's just keep that, tell them to me later. If you have a good question, I'll surely take it. So what I'm going to cover starting right now is I'm going to go into what do you actually do as a Bankcard rep. Okay, what do credit card processors and Bankcard reps like yourself, what are you actually doing for the merchant? And then how do you price the merchant when you're pricing them? Because a lot of you are going to be in the field and you're going to hear a rep say, hey, price them at 0.25 and a dime, and that's going to get them to 2%. Well, why? You got to have a little bit of understanding so that you can have the confidence, like Rich said, to go in and be a Bankcard professional, right? Okay, so I want to just give you very basic concepts of Bankcard and what you're doing and how it works, and then from there I'm going to go into how is your residual built, because I know yesterday Mandy covered all the bonuses, right? She covered leasing and all of the upfront money in credit card processing. I'm going to show you how to make more residual, which is why you guys should all be here for long-term money. Okay? So, what I want to start with is when you sell anything, okay, as a salesperson, you absolutely must know what it costs before you can sell it, right? If you're in car sales, okay, and you're on a car lot, and you have a Ford Taurus, and your sales manager says, go sell a Ford Taurus, you have to know what the car costs before you can put a price on it to make money, right? We got to have an understanding of what the foundation or the basic cost is, right? So I'm going to use the car analogy when I teach you about what's called interchange, okay? So basically how credit card processing works is this. If I'm a Ford dealer and I get a Ford Taurus Blue SE with, let's call it package X, and the Ford dealership 10 miles away orders the exact same year, make, model, color car from the Ford dealer or from the manufacturer, they both get the car for the same price, right? Do they sell it for the same price? No. The best salesperson makes the most money on the car. The other guy makes the least money. Now, our business is no different. Everybody in the credit card processing world, so every processor that exists has a base cost, okay? It's called interchange, okay? So you're on a level playing field. There's some advantages we have, but you're on a level playing field with all of the competitors out there, okay? You're never gonna walk into a scenario where one company can do pricing that you can't do, okay? 99% of the time, you're going to be able to save money if you want to, because we all have the same basic cost, okay? That cost is called interchange, okay? So I'm just going to call that the true cost or the cost of the car. Okay? So when we're pricing merchants, all we're doing, well, there's two types. On standard, I'm going to call it standard credit card processing and cash discount price processing. We're going to cover both sides of it. On standard credit card processing, all we do at Retriever, yes sir.
Slide it down if you can.
Oh.
That's good. That's good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so do you need me to move over? Okay, we're good. All right, so when all you're doing in standard credit card processing at Retriever or anywhere else in the business is you're taking interchange, which is true cost, and you're adding what we call basis points or hundredths of a percent to interchange. Okay, and that creates your end result. Okay, so when I walk into a merchant, I'm going to make this very simple for you. I need to know, to give that merchant a price, I need to understand either A, how to use our quote tool, or B, how to find interchange or know what interchange is. Okay? Interchange is a set of rates and fees attached to each individual issued credit card. Okay? So, what do I mean by that? When you go to a bank and you get a debit card and a credit card, let's just say from Providence Bank right here across the parking lot, each one of those cards has a percentage and a swipe fee attached to it. Okay? There are literally, when you take all the different buckets of interchange, about 1,000 different rates and fees in interchange. We don't want you to know them. You don't need to know them. Okay? We're going to simplify this and make it extremely easy for you. Okay? Those rates and fees, okay, blend together to create really accurate averages by business type. Okay? Or by retail, moto, which is mail order, telephone order, or e-commerce, which is the internet. So what do I mean by that? If you have a merchant who does 40, 50, 60 transactions or more, you can really basically estimate what interchange is and become really accurate at it. Because we know through our 38,000 merchants at Retriever what these costs are. Okay? So, what's the cost of interchange? I'm going to take 1,000 rates and I'm going to turn it into 3 rates for you. Okay? To remember. Just as a basis to understanding. Number one, in a retail environment with an average ticket, average sale of $25 or more, which is 85% of all transactions in the U.S., a retail transaction, all things being equal, costs Retriever and every other processor out there about 1.5% to do the credit card processing. Okay? That's the cost. Number two would be what we call MOTO. All this is a acronym for mail order, telephone order, or phone order, okay? These have a higher cost. And the reason being is very simple. There's much more fraud done over the phone in a non-face-to-face environment than there is in a retail environment with the actual person holding a card, swiping the card, and a lot of times putting a PIN number in. Okay? Why am I telling you this? Why do you need to know that there's a difference in price between retail and moto? Because you're going to go out with a lot of salespeople, and they're going to walk into a merchant, and you're going to hear them say, I can get your rates to 1.9 to 2%, that's what you should be paying. A lot of our reps talk about that, and they're pretty, adamant about it. Well, the reason they're saying that is because in a retail environment, they can add about 0.5% of profit and get that merchant to 2%. In a mail order, telephone order situation, that's not necessarily the case, because if you go to a pizza place, flower shop, any place like that, you're talking about an interchange rate closer to 2%. We'll just call it, it's real more like 1.9%. Okay? So you need to know that, because what the typical mistake that a lot of new agents make is they walk out and they go write 2 or 3 businesses. They do really well because they tell the merchant you're going to be at 2%. My rep told me to write it at this. Everything comes out fine. Then they go to their aunt's florist shop and they say you're going to be at 2%. She gets their bill and it's 3%. Well, the reason being is because she's doing a bunch of phone orders and doing a bunch of transactions that aren't necessarily retail. Okay. Third thing. E-commerce, okay, this is anything done on the internet, okay, so that means if somebody's purchasing directly from the back of a website, a gateway, if somebody is going in and entering card information, which is later entered into a credit card terminal, anything done on the internet, reoccurring billing. So like when you set merchants up to do reoccurring billing, like at gyms, any type of property management, places like that you set up a card on file and reoccurring bill, 1.9%. Okay? So, moral of the story, basic understanding of interchange. All we're doing is taking cost, which is this, or this, and adding what they call basis points and a transaction fee to it, and that basically makes up our price, okay? So when you're pricing a merchant, and you're out, how many of you guys have rode with a rep out in the field? Raise your hand. Okay. How many of you have heard, I priced them at 25 and 10, or 25 and 5, or 50 and 5? Okay, all they're talking about is they're adding that to this to create the merchant's price, okay? So if I have a retail merchant that does $10,000, okay, I can safely assume, as long as it's retail, that our cost is going to be about 150 bucks. So if I add 50 basis points or 0.5% to that, plus a dime, I can simply do the math and say they're going to pay $200 plus, let's say they did 100 transactions at a dime, that's 20 bucks, or excuse me, 10 bucks. Their fees are going to be $210, okay? And then you add the lease and everything else. But you need to understand, when you walk into a merchant, the base cost is in this area. And it's very important to remember this, because you're going to walk into merchants that swear they're paying 0.5%. Right? How many of you guys have walked into a merchant that said they're paying 0.5%? They're not paying 0.5%. All they remember is their sales rep told them you're going to pay 0.5%, and the guy lied to them. Yep. They're actually paying 0.5% on top of whatever this is, because you can never get away from paying interchange. That doesn't exist. Everybody has to pay it. Okay, so really simple. Retail, 1.5%, moto or e-commerce, 1.9. Now, one concept to remember, very important, and I recommend writing this down. Okay, let's just take in a retail environment. Our basis is 1.5%. What could affect